Welcome to the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 20th of October 1972. Now, before we get into the gameplay, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. As usual, you guys give me so much to think about, and that's what I like about your comments, because you ask questions and I have to go back and think about why I do things. And a good example of that is somebody asked me why that when I set routes up to industries to deliver passengers, why I don't set this as an unload here and a load here where they actually dropped off. And there's two reasons for that. The first reason is purely down to the game mechanics. When the game probably was first designed, the devs took a conscious decision so that when workers finish their shifts, say out here, you see we're actually producing bitumen now, the workers effectively teleport back to their home, I would guess, so they can then pick up their kind of off-duty leisure activities. Because if you come in here, and I'll put the cursor over one of these ones, you can see what these people are actually trying to do and what they're looking for. So, oh, that person's off to work. See if I can find someone there. They're satisfied. Probably the easiest way is to pause the game actually while we're doing this. And what you can see is that the workers go off and do other things. And I think trying to bring the workers back by bus to here was probably too complex for the mechanic. Now, there's also a second reason not actually using the return route, and that's the problem is when you've got two bus stops within close range to each other like that. Say, for example, he was using this route, this stop here, to take workers to another location, or more importantly, because the one place you would use bi-directional bus routes is, say, for example, if you wanted to bring people from here to here, because say there was a university over here that might have been out of range of part of the city, so what you get is a circulatory system working within your city. But the risk when you've got two bus stops like this, say picking up workers or dropping off workers to an area and they overlap a little bit, what can happen is that workers would go out to this bus stop, and instead of going into work there, they would walk down and get to this bus stop and then travel back to the town. So for that reason, it's quite risky putting this as a loading point and an unloading point if you get an interaction. I mean, if you want that interaction, that's fine. So that's the reason why I don't put a loading option in there for realism purposes. Now, I also got a few comments related to my rail construction yard. And one was somebody asking why I hadn't put external connections on. And the reason is that this office here doesn't actually have any external connections, because it's really intended for when you're first starting out at the very beginning and you want to build a small scale railway. If I'm completely honest, when I started this series back in 1947, my original plan was to have the railway up and running before 1960, but you can see it didn't really go according to plan, so I've kind of got stuck with this. And then I did reconsider knocking it down and rebuilding it, and then I thought, well, this isn't really in a good position for long-term track laying, because eventually we'll replace this with a more advanced rail track laying off centres in other places. So I think this is going to be good enough for the moment, but eventually this will eventually become redundant, although we'll probably keep this because this is a train yard. But although, again, part of the problem is going to be delivering the resources to this as well. That is the reason why I didn't go for wood-based tracks in the beginning. In fact, I went straight for electrification. I'll show you here. I mean, I've put this as prefabs because what I'll be doing is once we've laid out lengths of track along here, then I'll be putting the electro components in afterwards. So that is the approach I'm taking in this series. Now, when I start to lay track in my Four Corners series, because of the very early start, and electrification comes quite late for two reasons, because electrification comes quite late anyway. It won't come into about the 1940s. And the other problem is that because of the restrictions on trains, that what we'll probably be using is steam engines in the very beginning, and what I want to do is actually look at that mechanic of using coal to drive the steam engines. So on my Four Corners series, we will have this process of going from timber track to prefab track using diesels and then electrification. I've got no idea how I'm going to pull that off, but that's something I do want to think a little bit about. Now, I also got a question related to my transport network, and I agree that I do need to overhaul it a little bit more and rethink about it. What I want to do is you treat that as an ongoing project as my economy expands, and this is something I do want to focus a little bit more on in this part, because if you watch the previous video, I kind of had to come clean and say that this was a little bit of a mess up, is probably the correct way of saying it. And what I want to do now is possibly, once this connection's been built here, we're going to start designing this town here, although it looks like we're probably going to have to push the roads out. The other thing also is I'm kind of thinking that I need to start pushing the road out this way, because because one of the primary focuses of this series is to connect up the 7 crosses, and I haven't really done that yet. So what I want to do is start pushing the gravel road out to here so that we can create a small town here. Because it's close to the border, what we might be able to do is bring in some imports to keep them going while it's actually being built up. And I just want to check here and over here, because there is a road being built. Where is it? Is it finished yet? I think it has been finished, because what I would like to do is actually assign this, but this might be a little bit too far out for any construction office, because it's a long way out. Although technically we're going into winter, and I can't see the point of a road crew working so far out over here during the winter. One thing I have done is started allocating to here so that we can get power in here. We can get the gas station built as well, because I feel that what I need to do is start expanding this way so that we can get this area here, so we can start moving towards getting the oil over here. So what I'm thinking is possibly starting a town about either here or here, so that I think probably here might be the better place, because we then have access to coal over here with respect to my new construction materials building site there. Anyway, I think that is enough of talking about your comments. If you remember any more, I'll mention them as we go along. Now, one thing I do want to do here, you can see we got about 500,000, and I think at the moment this is kind of has been a bit slowed up, and I do really want now to start to push out this way. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set this up as an import for steel. I'm going to turn that on there, and we're going to import the steel. I really feel now that I need to start prioritizing this, otherwise it's just going to take too long to get things up and running. And so that's what I want to do. How many boards have I got in here at the moment? I've got 24 tons of boards. I would like to finish. This is 3.2. This is 3. And this is 4. So we've got more than enough boards now to finish this section. And then what we're going to have to do is really push out and try and build all this through here. We're going to need to build this eventually as well, so that we can get a power connection in there. Now there is a couple of things I do need to do. One is, if we come here, I would like to start sending fuel, and it's a long way out, and I don't want to put too much fuel in there. 30% would be quite enough, because I'd like to start activating this construction office as well. The other thing I want to do is take a look at the power supply up here, because we need to get power into this area to run our livestock area, and strangely enough the fields themselves need power as well. And I don't think this will actually provide the power coverage that I'm looking for. Oops, no. Now that's only going to power the town. We're going to need a power supply to about here. So say for argument's sake, we put a little power supply in there. That will supply this area. And then what we're also going to need is another power supply there. Does that... the bus stop doesn't need power. I'm going to put that there. And of course, what we're going to... What's this? Oh, that's too big. What I would like to do is put in a medium power connector here. But we're just going to put a mud road in here. Again, just to save a little bit of time. I think should be okay from a fire perspective. And then we're going to have to run another power cable from here. All a little bit messy, actually. Oh, wow. Right, we're going to have to take this off here. I think maybe we may need extra power up here. Just wondering. Now, I don't want to branch the power line. I suppose I could branch the power line out here, but the trouble is this is quite low power. I think this is only 4 megawatts. I think, isn't it? No, it's bigger than 4. What's that look like there? So it's actually 8 megawatts. I'm kind of thinking that we may expand this a little bit more, so I'm wondering whether that means I can change this. Okay, knockdown time. Just take this down, and we can get rid of this road there. Right, rethink time. Got that tidied up again. Oh, we got a fire. What's this? This is in Coalfield. It's in the flat, so it should be okay. And I think if we put in a full-size substation in here, or go for power substation, power transformer. I think this is. Oh. What we'll do is we'll just drop in one of these up here. Got a little bit of space like that. And what we can do is run the power from this side. I think we'll just put that out a little bit further, because that will ensure that the road crew can build it. And then what we'll do is run a... Oops. I think we'll run 6 megawatts from here, because we're kind of downscaling things as it goes along. What I have to do is kind of just there, and then we'll put in the substations here. Stop doing that. I'm really going to have to sort my mods out. Just going to put a mud road there. Now, I would guess that, I mean, how much power does a field draw? Interesting question. I can't see it drawing that much. Battery. Let me see. 3 megawatt hours. Maximum wattage is 50 kilowatts. I don't think we really need a full-sized. So we don't really need a full-size. Whoops. This one actually uses prefabs, doesn't it? Yeah. I think we'll go with prefabs because it doesn't use as much steel. And then this area is probably going to draw a lot more power, so we're going to have to put in. Part of me says put it about there, off of here, simply because if we want to build anything out. Oh no, actually, I just thought if we put it there, That's in a little bit of an awkward place, but I think possibly putting power to the construction office would be quite useful as well. And we give that a gravel road connection. That should be picked up. And then what we'll do is we'll actually run the full-sized. Oops, don't want that. Then we're going to run up through here, across the road there, because that'll give us a nice long run. And if I can, probably going to have to do something like that. I'm going to push this out a little bit further. Just build that in there. That gets the power connections into there. Now, before we go on to look at anything else, I just want to check my food crop storage. You can see we've still got a lot of storage to come into here. So we've got the space for about another 1,800 crops in here. And down here, let's see how well we're doing here. Well, these are nearly full. Wow. But this area is actually, I think we got wow, we got a lot of crops just kind of laying around in the fields. I think, I'm just actually going to speed the game up now. Let's just have a look at, actually just do it this way. We've got so much crop related stuff here. You've got 807 tons, you've got 811. I think that's close to the maximum. It says 84%. It says total capacity 1,200 tons, but it only goes to 960. Oops, no. Haha, oops. Messed that up, didn't I? Oh. I think we can just sort this out again. Shouldn't have done that. Again, should have paused before I messed about with this. And I think we can just, I think we've got producing so much food we can, that's the way it goes. I think up here, you've still got capacity up here at the moment. There's limit capacity, 650 tons, okay. So in some ways I'm still short of potential supply. What we're going to have to do is try and use a little bit more of the crops. I want to swing by and see our train guy is starting to build here. I mean, it'd be really great to get this bit finished. See, this is one of the advantages of laying the track, see, because he's able to move on a little bit and lay a little bit of that track as well. Of course, we don't need to put signals at the moment because this will be the only train operating in this area for quite some time. Oh, he's gone off over there now. So I should just watch him, because what you'll see is that if he's got a nice supply of steel, what you will see is what he will do is he will build across all these small sections in one go. Oh, obviously he doesn't have that much in the way of steel. But let's see, what is the level of steel in here? A little bit of steel. What he's picking up now. He's still building the prefab section here. What we'll probably have... You think you could build this, please, game? Well, we do have the boards for it, yeah. Just watch him a little bit again. And away he goes. He should build over... Yeah, so you can see he's pushing through this section now. It looks like he's actually going down onto this line here. So we may need to manage him a little bit, because I don't want him building one great big long line all the way out there. I want him to fill in this area here, but you can see he should make pretty quick progress. And I think to that end, I think we're going to need to get the Nicomo Large on building this, so that this is actually built before he gets this construction train gets out here, because I don't want him hanging around waiting. Right, we haven't really looked at Colville at the moment. I think Colville is going pretty well at the moment. We're working on this area here. I've I've been bringing some cement down here as well, so that hopefully, and we're building this small aggregate plant here as well. And the idea is that we can get this set up and full, we can start supplying the concrete and asphalt from here. Over here, things are going pretty well. We do need to build this, so let's just see what my construction office here is doing. Right now, I was messing about with this just before I started the video. I just want to make sure where he is picking up his steel from. Yeah, I think he needs now to actually pick the steel up from there. Yeah, I kind of made a bit of a mistake there. You can see we've actually got 15 tons of steel in here. Because we've actually got mechanical components. Just to make sure where he's picking the mechanical components up from. 12mm mechanical components, yeah. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit of surge of work now, because he's got some steel to go here. It says stop steel. So he needs 17 tons there. And what other jobs have you got here? I think we've just built another building as well. Building as well, power supply. Are you out of range of the... Oh, we might have an issue here. Let me just take a look. We're going to need to bring power in on this side. That could be an issue. That we might end up losing some population from this. Just going to pause so that the snow doesn't distract me while we... You've got power there. That's got... All this has got power. My inclination is to possibly... is to put this, I say, about here, so that we can feed power into this area here, but maybe out a little bit further, because this has already got... Actually, what's the overload on this station? It says 165%, so really we need an overlap here. So maybe if I just... Actually, if I put it in, say, about here, on this corner, I don't want to obstruct that road. So, say for argument's sake, I put it about here. Or should we go underground? Now, I think this is so close to the power station that we can afford just to put it above ground. What I will do, though, is I'm going to put a road out here. There's a marker. Thank you, game. I'm going to put a road out here because I don't want to cut this area off with respect to the opportunities for building, because we've got the rail line coming in here, and so we've got this bit of road here. What we will do is connect this. Didn't see that bit there, did I? Okay, rethink time. Just gonna have to demolish you. I think what we're gonna have to do is put this one time. I want the mods. These are underground ones. Okay. What I'm looking for, let me just get rid of him. I'm gonna go back to mods. I think these are substations. Can't remember which one's which now. We're looking for the one that goes off at an angle. Just... That's interesting. Didn't think you could do that. Just try and... Actually, if we can get one with a footpath, there's one in here. It's actually got a footpath connection. We can see if I can find it. Actually, what's that look like? Oh, that looks pretty cool. What is this? I'll zoom in a bit. Don't ever recall. Well, it says it's a electric substation. Ah, this is the one I'm looking for. This is a really small substation, but it looks quite neat when it's actually built. I mean, you could literally put it in there, but I think we could literally put it on this corner actually. Just there, like that. In fact, I think I will just drop that in there. And of course, it just means that we're going to have to kind of push this. I have to put Colville main construction on this and the road crew, because it's a very short distance here. I don't think you haven't got power anyway. So, and then what we're going to do is just run the full size power connection. Why hasn't this got? I thought I had power connection into here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have to try and... I thought, oh, there it is. I knew there was... you could take power directly from the power station, which we're going to do for this one, simply because it's just going to make it life a little bit easier. But again, I think I'm going to have to sort out this area a little bit. Of course, I can't find the power line now. Where are you, power line? There you are. And we're just going to put Colville main construction on that as well. Must admit, I wish there was a way you could actually change the template color on this game. So, and to be honest, I'd put power lines in some kind of bright color like red, so you can see them on the map. Yeah, buildings are fine as a yellow, but I think these are just so difficult to see sometimes. Anyway, we should get that building there. Now, one project I was working on down here, though I can't remember where it is. I think they've already built through here, haven't they? Let me just check what are these. These guys have still got loads and loads of roads and unfinished footpaths to do anyway. That'll keep them out of mischief. I think a lot of what they're doing is out here, I think. So for the winter. Now we're coming up to the 26th of November, and I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on the date, because I want to make sure that we're actually clearing all these fields, so that I got the maximum kind of collection from this. We've still got the odd little bits and pieces around that need to be collected, but you can see we've got over 2,000 tons in here, 2,000 tons in here. So I think overall we may lose just a few odds and bits and pieces, but it's literally one truckload really. Up here it's not going quite so good. So then again, this is a really big farm, so I'm just wondering, I think eventually what I might do is we've got a little bit of space out here for some more big builds. Let me just take a look. Yeah, we could put some more, possibly some big fields out like here. And so probably in the long term what I might do is put another farm out here just to fill in this little bit of extra space here, because we're not going to build any industry here. And of course, once we've got our livestock area up and running here, that will mean that this would be drawing in quite a lot of crops from a meat perspective. Up here, I can't remember what else we're building here. We finished the school, we finished the kindergarten, we've got our exterior playgrounds, we've got the heating kind of partly working. This is being built. We need the pipeline built to get that connection going. So we're gonna put these guys onto this and get that going. And of course we're gonna need a bit more accommodation up here as well. The shopping centre's up and running. What's this? We need the athletics club built as well. I think we got the main facilities in here. But I don't really want to bring anyone up here just yet. I mean, yes, I know we got 685 people. I over 21s, but I'm just kind of a bit reluctant to get anything going there. These guys got anything to do? No. Anything else around here that needs to be built? You built these road connections already? Wow. Okay. I don't think these have really got the ability to build bridges, have they? I don't know. We gave them a concrete mixer. We might be able to get them underway. What we're going to do is assign these to here, because they've got a couple of dumpers to move the gravel and the asphalt. They will probably need a... I don't think an excavator or bulldozer can work on a bridge. We'll need a road crane, I think. But I think if we give these guys a road crane and a concrete mixer, it is definitely concrete, isn't it? Yeah. So what we're going to do is go back over here. I'm pretty sure bridges need road cranes as opposed to the... Wow. No, oh no, he's built this now. I forgive you. Right, we don't need wood in here anymore, so what we're going to do is just reduce this down and get rid of it and sell the wood. We don't need it anymore, so just going to sell this wood out here. Apologies, it's going to take a little while to dig. Just want to drop this down to 1 truckload. And what that should do is give us more space for prefabs here. What we'll do is just let this guy do his thing, and it's really cool to be seeing track being laid. What have we got? How's the gravel situation in here? Get the feeling that we could probably do with another dumper in here to try and improve that gravel supply. So we're gonna put another dumper just by you. In there. And what did I come down here to buy? Oh yeah, we need a concrete mixer. 76,000. That's 9 tons. That's 10 tons. That's 80 kilometers now. So that's 87. I mean, I'm kind of more inclined towards a larger amount, but then will they sit there and pick up 12 tons or just pick up smaller amounts? Given the distance, I think we're going to go with him, and we actually need a road crane. We don't need nothing too expensive. I think we're just going to buy a cheapo road crane, because literally all they're going to be needed to do is build that bridge. So we're going to put you into, which is going to be effectively my bridge building crew. We can put you into there. I've kind of blown a lot of money, but I think we're okay income wise. Oops. I mean, I think we're okay economy wise. Yes, I know I just spent a lot of money, but we're making about 70,000 a month. I mean, exports were doing pretty well. And of course, imports now, we've got steel. We've also imported some electro components as well. So we're going to need to keep an eye on this steel import. If it gets too much, I'll just have to shut the rail building, track building down for a little while. Right. But at the same time, I still do want to get this track laid. Because if we can get this built, we can then curve back into here. And then, of course, it means we're going to have to build this to make this to this, so that we can then... And of course, what we'll be doing then is looking at getting a template for our first trains. Because it'd be really great to be able to get a line out here so that we can start exporting bricks and coal without having to use the trucks as well. In fact, I'd be tempted to begin with not so much to export coal, but to import iron ore, actually. Now, this is a loading bay. Actually, I've just had a thought. It's going to take us a long time to get up there, isn't it? Is there any way that I can build a temporary loading bay so that we can bring in iron ore by train? Because I think that'd be fantastic. I know I can't run it directly to here. But we could build an aggregate store here. Let's just let the game run. I think that we've now lost what crops we've lost. We've got train aggregate unloading. Can't build due to infrastructure. We could build it out here. When we could put it here, we'd have to build out through here, and then that poses the question that by the time I've got this built, I might not need it. My instinct is kind of try and put it somewhere in here, so it's pretty close. Can't build due to infrastructure. I presume that's probably Kate wires. Yeah. I think if I can put this, say, here, this will work. Just going to tilt it a little bit, actually. Just get that in, like, this is where mirroring would have been really nice, because if I could mirror the road on the other side, actually, we're just gonna move this over a little bit further, where that I'm kind of raising the terrain here a little bit, and I think if I put the this felt oh no, we can get the road in there, like to there. Now what we're going to need to do is get in a more aggregate store. Don't need a big one. Right, we're going to have to put the aggregate store on this side, which means we're going to need another road here. And actually what we can do is put this in as gravel, because this is more of a temporary structure than anything else. And then if I come back to here, we can, I don't want mods, I want truck loading. What we can do then is would it be, now I can't really justify running a conveyor. What we'd have to do is get in here, truck aggregate loading. Okay. That can't build due to infrastructure. I can build it there. This is loading, and what we can do is I'm going to sneak you in under there, there. Now what we're going to have to do now is kind of run a track off here, which isn't that big an issue because this is effectively a temporary track. Okay, we're going to have to, and then this is where I find out that I can't get the track to there. So we got this track here. Now we don't, need to double track this. All we need is a track off like this, say about there. It's not going to be a very long train. And we're only ever going to deliver in enough here to keep the steel mill going. And what that means is that what we'll be able to do is bring a train up here, which would be a lot quicker, and probably more importantly, it would take some of the pressure off of the customs office because we'll be bringing in trains. Yeah, I think that will work. We need to build these roads in here. Yep. Kind of happy with this. Colville Road crews picked that up. Yeah, so the boys have picked everything up here. Just check my Knife Edge Road crew, see if they've got anything to do at the moment. Because if they're not busy, they can come over here. No, they've effectively got nothing to do at the moment. I think what we can do is just give them that as an assist on there, and then I think because we're on the 5th of January, so ideally what I'd like to do, if I could see the roads here, I would like to start possibly filling in some of these roads here. Okay, we're just going to put you in there. You're going to need Knife Edge. We're going to put Nicomo on there for the workers. There. That we got here. How are we going for population wise? Everybody's happy, kind of. And just going to come up here. Right, we've now got, I mean, we could get the heating up and running. What I would like is another apartment block here, I think. I don't think, is this one? This one's not even connected. Is it? Let me just check. You need that there. And that there. And that there. Just pick that up. And hopefully the guys over here will pick this up. See if we've made a... Well, we're getting a little bit of gravel coming in. There's missing resource concrete. Ah! Bit of a fail here. I'm sure some of you guys spotted it straight away. We actually need to assign you to... That's concrete, isn't it? Thank you, game. So, get these guys going. Has the crane been sent out there yet? Take a quick look. No. See, we need 47 tons of concrete out here. I think if we build these bridge connections through here, what that will do is, I can't remember where all the 7 crosses are now. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. This one out here is probably going to be the biggest challenge. Because this is quite literally right out on the edge here. What was it? Bendagora. Actually, that's just reminded me of a comment which gave me a little bit of a concern. Because somebody posted a comment about the new update and then put in a reference to crime. It's just suddenly occurred to me that if you watch my video on the new update, and at the beginning of that video I show an option to switch on crime, and that poses a risk that when the crime and justice update comes in, this is a potential game breaker for these series, simply because it's an option to switch on, and if it's anything like the seasons update, it means that you won't be able to switch it on for an existing campaign. What I'm going to try and do is try and push these along as fast as possible. So what I would like to do is get these complete before that update drops. That gives me several months to really work on these series before that problem develops. What I'm going to do now is we've kind of got this area going, and I quite like this now. This is being built. Just being built. Let me just see. It'll be a little bit difficult to see whether this is actually finished. Well, one good test is to see if this can be allocated, which it can do. So we're going to get that built. This is got a crane on it. We do need to get this power supply in, because I'm sure there's building without power supply. They are happy, probably because their happiness is being overridden by the fact they've got everything else they need. It says they can't participate in sport, they can't participate in culture. So what's probably happening is that this is getting a little bit too far away from the other facilities. So what we're probably going to need to do out here is put some culture or something out here in order to keep things going. But I'd rather keep the main accommodation in here. So if I'm going to put in some culture, I think maybe we're going to put it on this corner here. Let's see what we can do culture wise. Cinema. We've got an old opera house here. I would like something that's got a sauna. 400. Put a sauna in. Like on this corner here. Actually a visitor attraction. I'm not convinced that is a library. We can put an air of sophistication in for our population. Old cinema building. I think I've already used that. Got a country club. I don't think that really fits with the communist regime, does it? Rotunda Theatre. I think I've used this before. Actually, we've got this one here. These are the old theatres, isn't it? If anyone's not sure, this is a kind of representation of what in the UK you'd be called. It's Shakespeare's theatre, and at the moment I can't remember what it's actually called. Actually, let's go for the People's Theatre. Let's take a look at that. Kind of looks a little bit like a theatre, doesn't it? If we drop that just down here, this will give us... Yeah, I think we're going to put a People's Theatre just here on this corner here. Then we'll just hook this up with a footpath there, which will need to be built. And we'll need to put this here. This is a short road, so we'll put Coalville main construction on there. And we're going to need a bit of an interior sports pavilion. Actually, what I'm going to do is not that. We're going to go to whoops, equipment for city. No, sports. Is it? That would be under. What's it? Where's the indoor pool? There it is. I'm really looking forward to the fact that eventually they're going to, when the new update comes out, we'll be able to put, so if we put an indoor pool here, actually no, if we put an indoor pool, we get it just on this corner, I think that will work a little bit better. And then this will create a kind of little bit of a leisure complex here for our expanded city, because we've got the leisure complex on this corner. We can put residents around here and expand the city, because as I mentioned in the previous video, we're going to be sending the workers out to the coal fields out here. Right. Right, I've just realized I'm running out of time on this video, and I haven't done anything I intended to do because I wanted to do some planning, which we're going to have to do in the next video. So what I'm going to do is just going to go around and we'll just have a little bit of an update of where we are. I think we've got the log situation under control here. These guys could probably do with another cutting mechanism. Not that it's particularly that important at the moment, but I'll put that in off camera, because we were kind of building up a steady supply of, can you say, bitumen here. And of course we've got a supply of planks here, which is probably a bit too much. We're building the concrete plant, so hopefully we will get all this set up over time, because there's a shortage of steel. Because the big restriction at the moment is having to haul the iron ore in, which is the reason why it suddenly occurred to me to go for this. I think generally over here, let's just have a quick look at our food stocks here. I think what we will do is just flip these guys to load, so that they can actually do a bit more distribution, so that we can get the stuff into here, because this is falling a little bit now. Yeah, So we've got to overall here our railway guy. Ow. This guy's on steroids, so what we're probably going to need to do is kind of slow him down a little bit. This is built, it's got power, so what I'm going to need to do is once he gets up to about here, is we're going to have to recall him so that he inbuilds all this stuff here. Of course we haven't got that there, but what I'm gambling is that once we've made this connection, he should be able to come through here round to build this and come back this way. If he doesn't, what we're going to have to do is just build some kind of back loop. But he's making really fast progress actually. But what we're going to need to do is build up a war chest so that we can electrify the line as well. I think over here we haven't really done much at the moment, except for just have a quick fly out to what we got here. Yeah. So we've actually built this now. We've got a small construction office out here. We got power. These guys are going to need fuel. So where's my new fuel distribution office here? I thought I'd set you up. Okay, you're meant to be a gravel distribution office. I'm not exactly sure. I think I kind of messed this up a little bit. Why are you called gravel distribution? Doesn't make sense. Well, we're just going to rename you to Nakomo fuel distribution upspell, and then we're going to need to get another fuel truck out here, but one thing we are going to need here is fuel delivery out there, and just to avoid confusion, we're going to rename you Nakomo distrib. I've got a feeling that I put him in to supply here, but I can't remember, to be honest. And I think this is one of the hazards of actually trying to play two series. I do get the two confused from time to time, so if any of you guys spot it, I apologise, but that just seems to be the fact of life. I think what we are going to do is I'm just going to allocate another one of these, and I think if we can build a second apartment block out here, then we can start populating Foodville. Once I've got the pipelines being built, we've now got the heat exchanger done, so all this is in position. This has got fuel technically in position now. I'll just set this. Well, no one's ever going to deliver here, so we could get the full 330 tons of wood in there. And I think just to finish off, see how well our guys here, we got our our excavator out here, our 50B. So we're building this bridge out here, which is going to be a bit of a project. Once we finish that one, we'll then build this one, because I think this one will head literally towards here. So if you imagine that we're going to get a road out here, which will kind of loop round and go down to our new town over here, which is something we'll be looking at in the next part. Wow, these guys have built these already. Oh, I wasn't really intending for them to build. I thought I'd have to allocate them. Okay, let me just check up here. It looks like they're currently working on these. I think we're just going to let them finish off these roads through the rest of the winter, but this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.